What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So this is an exciting one because this video I will be talking about my peak week and show day. So probably by the title of this video you'll see that I have won one of the categories, at least in my first bodybuilding competition. I was competing in two categories, which was a first time classic bodybuilding, more for like amateurs, and then also competing in the men's open classic bodybuilding class. First, we're going to get into the show day footage, and then it's broken up into different sections. So first section will be the first timers, like amateur class, and then you'll see us hit the mandatories, individual posing routine, and then we do a pose down. So then you'll see all of that. Okay, so after this win in my amateur first class, I went into the men's open class. And then here, there were 6 competitors total, and then I had placed 5th.
Number 22, Jake Aquilina. And fourth place, number 24. In third place, number 9, Leo Agnew. Number 11, other results, which makes your classic champion, number 17, Greg. Big round of applause for your classic open winners.
I felt like I should have done a little bit better in placing. However, I had a decent size and shape relative to some of the other competitors. However, one of the things that I was dinged on by the judges was that I wasn't conditioned enough. And this kind of bothered me a little bit because as I get into some of the food and the macros update, I'll show you kind of an update of where I was about halfway through my peak week, where I felt like I was pretty lean. In the process of filling back up, I don't want to say I spilled over, but I just think I lost some of the leanness and dryness that I had. There was probably some issue of timing and how my body responds to carbs, and I probably didn't need to have my carb fill up when I did. And this is a learning process. This is my first time competing, so these are things that we're going to change and adjust going into shows moving forward. However, overall, I was very happy with how I did and how I performed, especially into the open category as well. Because I had won my first time classic bodybuilding class, I was then submitted to go into an overall, like men's overall bodybuilding champion. So I had to compete and do a pose down and mandatories for that as well. And in this overall, the winner would be winning a sword, which was pretty cool in my opinion. But also it combined men's classic as well as men's normal bodybuilding. So it was a pretty competitive category. I wasn't expecting to win. However, one of my friends did take home the overall sword, which I was pretty happy for him.
Let's go, boys! Yeah. 22! Yeah, let's go, Jay!
Quarter time to go. The mass muscle 2024 is number 45.
That being said, I was pretty happy with how I did and how I competed. Maybe like I mentioned earlier, I felt like I should have been conditioned more, and I think this was an error of my coach and I. In the process of filling back up, I probably didn't need the carbs as soon or as early as I did because my body responded pretty well and it seemed to fill up quite a lot, and it seemed like I lost some of the leanness and conditioning that I had earlier in the week, which probably dinged me a couple places, at least for the men's classic competition. I'll do the macros update. Monday through Wednesday, I was eating 1,775 calories, 15 grams of carbs. So that's like kind of like trace carbs in some of the food. Really wasn't having any rice. 47 grams of fat and 290 grams of protein. I was also hitting 75 minutes of cardio Monday through Wednesday after training, and I felt like come Wednesday, I was actually pretty lean and I was kind of getting to where I wanted to be. And then I was hoping that upon drying down, I was going to get nasty. So I'll just drop a little clip of me just practicing posing after, I believe, Wednesday's training session, and you could see the leanness that I was at relative to that of being on stage. Okay, so then going into Thursday leading up to the show, I started the fill-up process. So Monday through Wednesday had little to no carbs, and then Thursday basically carb loaded, and then I was having 2,815 calories, 420 grams of carbs. So that's about a cup and a half of rice with every meal. It's like 65 grams of carbs with every meal, 42 grams of fats, and 170 grams of protein. So here is where we were filling back up. And then on Friday, we started to dial that back down a little bit. We had 2,029 calories, 250 grams of carbs, so that's about a cup of rice with every meal, 42 grams of fats, and 151 grams of protein. Now, this was supposed to help me fill back up from being super lean. So as you get really lean, you're almost like too flat. And then you want to have all those carbs to kind of fill your muscles up. And then as you're filling up, you're also starting to dry back down. And then as you dry down, your body will get skin will get really tight, your muscles kind of swell, and that's how you're supposed to look on stage, really full. But it's really hard to time and practice and balance all of this. So I think that's where we had some difficulty and issues. I think I was over full and I didn't have that leanness and I didn't get dried down as much as I should have been. So then come Saturday, I didn't track the amount of calories I ate because obviously Saturday night I had a cheat meal and I was eating whatever I wanted. But I ate 3 meals kind of in the morning. So first meal was at 5 a.m. I had my second meal at 8 a.m. and then my show was starting around 10 or 11. So then I went on stage probably like 11:30 for my first time classic, where I won and I felt like I looked pretty good. About like 20 minutes prior to stage, I had 2 rice cakes, some jelly, covered it in salt, and that's to help kind of give you some carbs, get a ton of sodium, help you get pumped up and your blood flowing. I had another meal around noon, very simple, like beef with some potatoes. And then similarly, right before I went into the men's open, I also had my 2 rice cakes with jelly and salt again, right before I hopped on stage to get pumped up. And then later that night, I had a baller, awesome meal with my family to kind of celebrate and enjoy myself since I haven't been able to eat proper food in a long time. The other thing I was talking about is drying down. So besides the macros, a big important thing about this process through this week was my water intake. So Monday through Wednesday, and also I was on the diuretic, the Expel diuretic that I had shown you in the previous video, all throughout this whole week. So Monday through Wednesday, I was having about 1.5 gallons of water a day. And then on Thursday, I loaded up extra with water and I did 2.5 gallons. I probably didn't get the full 2.5 gallons, probably had like 2 gallons or so because I was just like a ton of water. And my coach also wanted me to have extra salt on like all of my meals, like super loaded with salt. And then Friday, he wanted me to have half of a gallon of water for the whole day, finish it by 6 p.m., and then no water afterwards. And he said like sips of water as needed, like with meals or something, but I didn't have any water after that. And then Saturday, he said to have 8 ounces of water, which I don't even think I had a full 8 ounces of water, maybe like 4 to 6 ounces of water when I woke up. And then sips as I needed. I only had a couple sips when I was backstage getting pumped up. My mouth was getting dry, I think probably from the nerves. But yeah, as you can see, like you're supposed to peak your water right around Thursday, super high water, super high salt. And then as you go into Friday, you lean off everything. You have no sodium, and then basically all the water is supposed to be pulled out of your body. And then when you're on the diuretic, you're supposed to be peeing a ton, so it's supposed to help dry you out and get you really lean. You pair that with filling up and hitting all the carbs, your muscles are going to get pumped, and then as your skin gets dried down and you lose all the water, it's supposed to look pretty nasty on stage. Now, it's a pretty hard thing to balance, so it's I think we had struggled with that, getting that perfectly. Afterwards, looking back on all of this, I think we could have been more leaned and more conditioned going up on stage, and that's something I felt like I probably could have been pushed harder for cardio, probably could have done no carbs for longer, but this is all a learning process, and I'm pretty happy with how it went. I was invited to the national show that was in 2 weeks, and I at first was going to do it, but I changed my mind just because of how I placed in the men's open. Being in 5th, which is basically the bottom of the bracket, I felt like the national stage would be more competitive. And if I came in the bottom of the bracket here in this regional show, I didn't want to push myself to go to the national show, which was in less than 2 weeks, which, in 2 weeks' time, you really can't change. You can't dial in that much more. I figured I wouldn't get to that level of conditioning that I wanted to within that 2 weeks, especially being natural. So I decided to make the call and then not compete in the national show. So I'm heading into off season and I'm going to prep through this winter, try to gain some size, and then plan to hit it back again next year. So with that, guys, yeah, super happy with how this went, and I'm super supportive of everyone kind of following along for this process. I know it's been a lot of the bodybuilding updates, but I'm excited to get back to some of my normal routine and go back into the car stuff. So I'm really looking forward to getting back and working on the cars again. So thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next video.